Let's start with the most horrifying predators on the list and slowly work our way towards the stuff of nightmares. Before we start, here's the rule for this countdown. We are not ranking these by size, and we're not ranking them by how they look. Every entry on this list earns its spot through hard numbers. Bite force, kill efficiency, and how completely they dominated every other predator sharing their world. Number 7. The hooved killer. Picture a creature built like a wolf, but the size of a small rhino, with hooves instead of paws.
That's Andrewsarchus, and for 100 years, it held a title nobody has managed to take from it: the largest carnivorous land mammal ever known to science. Its skull alone measured almost 3 feet long, bigger than the entire head-to-tail length of a large modern wolf. Estimates put its full body at somewhere around 1,000 pounds or more, powered by a jaw strong enough to crush bone with roughly a ton of biting force. That's more than double what any land predator alive today can produce.
Here's the twist that makes this entry genuinely unsettling. Scientists still aren't completely sure what Andrewsarchus actually hunted, because the only fossil evidence we have is a single skull, discovered in Mongolia in 1923, and nothing else. An animal capable of crushing bone with a ton of force, roaming ancient Mongolia about 45 million years ago. And we still don't have a complete picture of what it did with that power. That mystery alone earns it the 7th spot. Number 6. The snake that ate crocodiles.
Now picture something even stranger. A snake so massive that a fully grown adult couldn't wrap both arms around its widest point.
This is Titanoboa, and the numbers here are almost hard to believe. Over 40 feet long, more than 1,000 pounds. Living in the swampy jungles of what is now Colombia around 60 million years ago. Hunting the same way modern anacondas do, but at a scale that made every other predator in its ecosystem a potential meal. Here's the number that pushes this above Andrewsarchus. Because snakes can swallow prey up to roughly a quarter of their own body length, a Titanoboa this size could physically swallow an animal nearly 13 feet long. Fossil evidence from the same region shows Titanoboa sharing its swamps with ancient crocodile relatives, and researchers believe a Titanoboa this size was capable of constricting and swallowing a crocodile whole, not fighting it off, eating it. Number 5. The super croc. If Titanoboa could eat a crocodile, what could actually threaten a Titanoboa? Meet the animal that shared its rivers. Sarcosuchus, nicknamed the super croc, patrolled the rivers of ancient Africa roughly 110 million years ago. It could grow up to 40 feet long and weigh more than 10 tons, heavier than a fully loaded school bus. Its skull alone stretched nearly 6 feet, lined with over 100 teeth built for a single purpose: clamping down and never letting go. Here's what earned Sarcosuchus a spot above the last 2 entries. It didn't just hunt fish or small reptiles. Fossil evidence places Sarcosuchus in the same ecosystem as young and mid-sized dinosaurs, and its ambush strategy, lying almost completely submerged, invisible until the moment of the strike, meant that literally nothing coming to that riverbank to drink was guaranteed to walk away. Size wasn't even its biggest advantage. Patience was. Number 4. The one that hunted in 2 worlds. Every predator so far has ruled either land or water. Number 4 is the one that mastered both. Spinosaurus is now believed to have lived a semi-aquatic life, swimming through ancient river systems and hunting prey that most land predators couldn't even reach. Its jaws weren't built like a typical dinosaur's. They were long, narrow, and packed with conical teeth, almost identical in shape to a crocodile's, built specifically for gripping slippery prey underwater rather than tearing flesh on land.
Here's the number that separates Spinosaurus from every land-based hunter on this list. Paleontologists have found evidence that Spinosaurus regularly preyed on large fish and sharks, species that at the time were themselves apex predators in their own right, some more powerful than a modern great white. An animal capable of walking onto land, then diving into a river to out-hunt the sharks living in it, wasn't just an apex predator. It was an apex predator in two completely different food chains at once.
Number 3. The king of the land. You knew this one was coming. Tyrannosaurus rex. Here's why it earns the number 3 spot and not higher. T-Rex's bite has been measured through detailed skull and muscle reconstructions at somewhere around 3 tons of force, strong enough to crush through solid bone in a single bite, something almost no other land predator, living or extinct, could reliably do. Some individuals may have exceeded 40 feet in length and weighed close to 9 tons. But here's the twist most people don't know. T-Rex likely didn't rely on speed or ambush the way a Sarcosuchus or a saber-toothed might. Its bite alone was the weapon. Studies of fossilized prey bones show deep puncture and crush marks consistent with T-Rex simply biting down and holding on, using raw jaw power to disable prey that outweighed most other predators' entire hunting strategy. It didn't need to be clever. It just needed to bite once. Number 2. The whale that hunted whales. Everything on this list so far has ruled either the land or the shallow water. Number 2 ruled the open ocean, and it hunted the largest animals in it. Livyatan melvillei was a giant relative of the modern sperm whale, but built entirely differently. Instead of the small, narrow teeth sperm whales use today, Livyatan had teeth up to a foot long on both its upper and lower jaws, a feature almost no whale, living or extinct, actually has. That's a bite built specifically for grabbing and shredding large prey, not just suction feeding on squid the way modern sperm whales do. Here's the number that puts it above T-Rex. Livyatan is believed to have hunted other whales, not scavenged them, hunted them in the open ocean roughly 12 to 13 million years ago, likely competing directly with the ancestors of an even bigger predator that's about to take the number 1 spot. Number 1. The strongest bite that ever existed. Number 1 isn't a guess. It's a measurement. Megalodon was the largest predatory fish to ever exist, potentially up to 60 feet long, weighing more than 50 tons, with a mouth wide enough to fit a modern adult standing upright. Its teeth, some over 7 inches long, weren't built to gently grip prey. They were built to shear straight through bone. And here's the number that makes this the undisputed number 1 on this entire list in any era. Multiple biomechanical studies estimate Megalodon's bite force at somewhere between 100,000 and 180,000 newtons. Depending on the study, that's roughly 10 times stronger than a modern great white shark, and by several estimates, stronger than the bite of Tyrannosaurus rex, the animal we just ranked at number 3. Fossil evidence backs this up directly. Ancient whale bones have been found with deep gouge marks matching Megalodon's teeth exactly, concentrated around the flippers and tail, suggesting Megalodon didn't just attack prey head-on, it crippled them first, then finished the job. An apex predator with the patience of an ambush hunter, and the raw power to back it up, which is exactly why, of every predator that has ever lived on this planet, Megalodon holds the number 1 spot. So, what does this list actually prove? Every single animal on this list was, in its own era, functionally unbeatable. Andrewsarchus had no real predator on land. Titanoboa had no real predator in its swamp. Sarcosuchus, Spinosaurus, T-Rex, Leviathan, every one of them sat at the very top of a food chain with nothing seriously threatening them back. And yet, every single one of them is gone. Not because something hunted them into extinction. Climate shifted, coastlines changed, prey disappeared. The most dangerous predators to ever exist weren't beaten by a bigger set of teeth. They were beaten by a changing world they couldn't adapt fast enough to survive.
Which might be the most unsettling fact on this entire list. Being the deadliest thing alive was never actually the thing that kept any of these animals around. Subscribe, because the next list is about the ones who figured that out and survived anyway.